Hi, I'm John, and welcome back to Dice Paper Miniatures. Well, it happened. This weekend, we got an announcement for the new 3rd edition Age of Sigmar, which is really cool. Now, for those of you that follow me know that I actually don't play Age of Sigmar. I'm more of a Warcry and Warhammer Underworlds player. And I've been debating on, do I jump into Age of Sigmar, playing all those games I just mentioned, on top of Kill Team, and Necromunda, and Blood Bowl. I play a lot of different skirmish games just for GW, not to mention the other games I play. And so I've always debated on, do I play 40K? Do I play Age of Sigmar? Do I do both? I've not jumped in officially into either one as of yet, but with the new 3rd edition Age of Sigmar coming out and all the previews we've had recently with the new Soulblight Gravelords, specifically the vampires, it's really tempting. And we recently just got an article that goes over all the different bloodlines for those vampires, and it continues to get more and more tempting to play Age of Sigmar. So now that I know that a new edition is coming and these vampires are coming, it gives me a chance to kind of make a game plan, so to speak, if I want to jump in and what particular direction I want to go with the vampires. Let's go ahead and take a look at that article and get your thoughts on, one, are you a new player and you're considering the same thing? Or if you're an existing player, do these vampires appeal to you and why? Let's begin. So yeah, I want to do a bit of a deep dive. Now that we have this 3rd edition announcement this last weekend for Age of Sigmar, this is a good opportunity for players like myself that have considered playing, but haven't jumped in yet to Age of Sigmar. I play Warcry, I play Warhammer Underworlds, I collect models from the Age of Sigmar line of products, but I haven't played. And I've been a little reluctant to jump in because I feel like I play enough skirmish games, it's hard enough to find time to play those, but I really like what I'm seeing with this new Soulblight Gravelords, these vampires in particular, and this article that focuses on the different bloodlines has me really curious about maybe with it being a few months out still as far as the new edition, this could be a good time for me to jump in. I'm pretty sure the new box set will focus mostly on Stormcast Eternals and Destruction, likely some different type of Orc related faction. But that's okay. I'm more excited for the vampires. So let's take a look at this article because it does kind of go in depth itself onto what are the differences as far as what you could kind of assume will be the different play styles for each of these vampires. So to start with, it says the cursed bloodlines. Each dynasty or legion of vampires has developed its own characteristics over time, shaped by their leaders, customs, and desires. They all have their own preferred methods of warfare. So we have the Legion of Night, the Trap Layers. I dig that art. Very cool. So Manfred von Karstein's endless pursuit of power has made his vampiric vassals ambitious and arrogant. The Legion of Night prefers to use hordes of the undead to slow the enemy down and to act as bait, while powerful vampires sweep in to claim glory once they sense an easy kill. They're the sneakiest of the 5 bloodlines. Manfred and his dread abyssal Ashagaroth even have a nasty habit of leaping out of combat only to reappear somewhere else entirely. Yeah, the playstyle of this particular legion seems pretty cool, at least to me. And then we have the Legion of Blood, or the classy ones. So Neferata is the monarch of blood. She thinks of herself as the queen of all vampires and maintains an incredibly complex network of spies. While Neferata prefers political manipulation to threats of outright violence, her Legion of Blood is no stranger to warfare. When they do sally forth from the stronghold in Nulamia, the death-rattled legions march in lockstep, in a menacing display of Neferata's ironclad will. Add to the fact that the Legion of Blood can take Black Knights as battle line units, and you have a reliable core of skeleton warriors around which to build your army. If you want to showcase the dark majesty of death, the Legion of Blood are peerless exemplars. Okay. That actually might be... I might have to consider that too. A little bit more than I did when I first read through this, so we'll see. Next we have the Kastelai Dynasty, the Knightly Orders. The Kastelai are the most warlike and martial-minded of the vampire dynasties. These vampires reside in the Crimson Keep, a magical castle that has a tendency to translocate from place to place. Awesome. They have a strong preference for mounted warriors, all the better for catching up to the fortress when they get left behind. That's funny. The Lord of the Crimson Keep is Prince Vordry, the Fist of Nagash, or Nagash. This mighty vampire leads his knights to war from the front, or more accurately from above on his zombie dragon. The well-drilled Kastelai cavalry values feats of skill and strength in combat, and they become even stronger as blood begins to flow. That's pretty cool too. So right now, I'm leaning more towards the Legion of Night and the Kastelai Dynasty so far. Next, we have the Avengorii Dynasty, the Nightmare Brood. I already have a mixed opinion on this one just based on that model. I love it and hate it at the same time. But the Avengorii are gruesome horrors that have willingly abandoned the pretense of humanity, making their homes in underground layers in the realms of beasts. They seek out the largest, most worthy brutes in Gur to feed on. Ultimately, their armies are little more than rampaging packs of monstrous, undead creatures. I mean, that's cool. Not only are the Avengorii twisted in body, but their minds also become increasingly deranged over time. Other bloodlines see them as debased, but they know they're just a hair's breadth away from becoming just like them. If you like armies full of massive fiends, like Lucavi, you can't go wrong with the Avengorii. They're even able to take Terrorgeist and zombie dragons as battle line units. Wow. Feel free to imagine the look on your opponent's face. Yeah, that could be a thing. I'm not sure how Age of Sigmar plays though yet, so in my experience in other tabletop war games, usually more than just having big units, usually a good mix of numbers also helps with winning with objectives. So yeah, not sure about how that will play out as far as being competitive goes. And then we have the Vyrkos Dynasty, the Wolf Pack. The unusual dynasty has developed a distinct culture. The legends say their Soulblight curse cannot be traced back to Nagash, but rather to a god beast, which would explain the strange nature of their affliction. Of their connection to totemic animal spirits, chief among them is the aspect of the wolf. This connection manifests in the lupine features that can be found on their warriors and their ability to command packs of dire wolves. That's cool. So the matriarch of the bloodline, Belladama Volga, makes no effort to suppress her animal core, her lupine legs proudly on display. Rumor has it that her hulking mount, Rothabak, was once one of the matriarch's ill-fated suitors. If riding to battle brandishing a scimitar atop a former bow isn't the ultimate power move, we don't know what is. Makes me think of like little Red Riding Hood with the wolf dressed up as grandma. I mean, sure. You could literally have like a Red Riding Hood themed wolf army. I mean, just for humor value, that could be a thing. On the tabletop, the variety of Vyrkos heroes, including Radikar the Beast and Belladama Volga, all count as generals if taken in a Vyrkos army. That makes them a great option for players who like strong support from leaders and wizards. Okay, so I don't even know how to rate the Vyrkos in my decision-making process of if I were to get back, if I were to play Age of Sigmar, what army or legion would I play? Oof, the Vyrkos Dynasty seems interesting. I don't know how to rate it though, like I said. I would imagine the Avengorii Dynasty could be fun to play and would look cool on the battlefield. I'm inclined to think they wouldn't be very competitive, so that could be something to think about. The Kastelai Dynasty, that's the most warlike one. That probably is like maybe the jack of all trades, master of none. And that could be what the Vyrkos are like too. The Legion of Blood, when the game designers tell me that, they're not the most warlike, they try to win through whatever, it makes me wonder, this could be like the sleeper one to consider, especially with the Black Knights as being usable as battle line units. This is the worst art. Well, arguably Grandma Wolf is the worst art, but this would be like the next worst art, which makes me think that's probably then the best army, possibly. And the coolest one, which is the one I would like to play the most, is probably the worst, but maybe not. This is the one I keep coming back to, is the Legion of Night. I mean, if you want a good excuse just to throw a bunch of zombies and skeletons on the board, this is probably the one to go with. Guess we'll find out, but for now, I'm leaning towards Legion of Night as my first pick, the Kastelai Dynasty as my second, and then probably Legion of Blood as my third, and then the Vyrkos Dynasty as my fourth. But that's like, that one could change easily. That could go all the way to the top. Hard to say for sure. And then my last pick would be the Avengorii. While it'd be cool to have the dragons and the Terrorgeist as the battle line units, I'm a little concerned they're going to lose by not having enough numbers on the battlefield. All right, so what are your thoughts? You know, are you also a new player coming into the game? Are you considering the vampires? And if so, what bloodline appeals most to you? And if you have been playing Age of Sigmar, is this new Death Army even like on the table of considerations for you? Or are you like, no, none of it looks good to me? I would like to hear your thoughts as well. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump into the summary. So yeah, all those bloodlines seem to have a lot of potential. Again, I'm still not 100% sure which direction I want to go, but yeah, I'm definitely leaning more towards Legion of Night, for sure. That is my number one pick right now. Other than that, everything is still a little bit in flux, with likely the Avengorii Dynasty being last on my list. It could likely be one of the best ones to consider, but for now, I'm not quite feeling it. Great models for potential kit bash opportunities, but other than that, I'm still not sure. Anyways, I'd love to get your thoughts. What bloodlines looked best to you? If you're a new player, do the Soulblight Gravelords even appeal to you at all? And if you're an existing player, do they appeal to you? If so, I would like to get your thoughts as to why or why not you'd be interested in one of these bloodlines for the Soulblight Gravelords. And with that said, if you haven't yet, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell and sharing this content. It really helps the channel grow, and I greatly appreciate it. And that's it for this episode. As always, I hope everyone's doing well. Be safe, take care, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye-bye.